Well, hello. Welcome to Kopernik Observatory, at least through the internet. Great to have you here with us this evening. Wish you could actually be here this evening, but we figured it's the right thing to do right now is to let's wait this out just a little bit longer, so that when we do get together, we can have that much more fun together. Anyway, welcome. My name is Drew Deskur. I am the director of the Kopernik Observatory, and we are here to celebrate Winter Star Party. I think what I'm going to do here is lay out how things are going to play out today. I'm going to start with a presentation about Kopernik himself, also talk a little bit about Kopernik Observatory, and then there's a little raffle prize that we're going to be giving away, a couple of Kopernik memberships. And then once we do that, we'll take a little bit of a bio break. And then our main presenter, Bob Noya, will do his presentation on who says astronomy isn't funny. And so it'll be a great presentation. And then finally, Jeremy Cardy will, if all of a sudden a miracle occurs and there's an opening in the sky, we're going to try to do some live observing, but maybe at this point just be Jeremy talking a little bit about what's actually up in the skies, and we'll take it from there. So we'll see what the rest of the evening brings. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to my presentation, and let's take it from there. It's I see we already have 33 people watching, and so again, if you get any comments or questions, go ahead and put them in the chat, and we'll try to answer them as we can. So here we go. All right. So again, this is Kopernik's Winter Star Party. This is, for those who've never actually been up here, this is what the Kopernik Observatory looks like in the winter, hence the Winter Star Party. And so let's see here. I want to also call out and thank our friends at Drones Over Broom. They have, for a number of years now, done a number of pictures, drone shots of Kopernik and the surrounding areas, and they're just absolutely beautiful. So sometime after this, after our Winter Star Party, either tonight or sometime tomorrow or whatever, go out on Facebook and check out Drones Over Broom. They do some fantastic shots from throughout the area. All right, let's press on. So, if this were an in-person Winter Star Party, you'd be greeted at the door with a couple of our interns, and if you have a Kopernik membership, you'd be, of course, getting in for free. Otherwise, you'd be paying the low admission rate. This was actually, I think, a picture taken at our last Winter Star Party in 2019, this last in-person one. I'm sorry, 2020 was the last in-person one, and we usually have a full crowd. It's we can put over 100 people in here, and it's always a great time to have a lot of people up in here. We always, of course, whenever you come to Kopernik, give you an opportunity to check out our telescopes. This is actually one of the 3 permanent telescopes that we've got out in the domes. This is our 20-inch reflecting telescope. It was actually donated back in the 1990s by the Roger Kresge Foundation, and we used to put eyepieces on this telescope. In fact, I recall coming up here back in the 80s and looking at Halley's Comet as it was sort of leaving the area, as it were. But right now, we just use it for imaging. We were fortunate enough to get a grant from the Kresge Foundation for some really high-resolution camera systems, and a lot of the fantastic shots that we take up here are through this particular telescope. And of course, after the presentation, we invite people to come out to go do some observing. And Art Casiola is one of our educators, a member of the Kopernik Astronomical Society, the astronomy club that's up here. But that big blue telescope is a relatively new addition for us. We call it the Andy Teleska Memorial Telescope. Andy Teleska was a educator in town, and he passed away a few years ago. He used to teach astronomy at Binghamton University, as well as physics at Johnson City High School, His family donated the funds for this particular telescope, and what's particularly great about it is that it's wheelchair accessible, and which is, again, you have an opportunity for people that might be mobility impaired to get right in there and use a really nice telescope to take a look at the night sky. So, but again, this year we're all virtual, so we're gonna press on. One thing I always like doing when we have these YouTube videos, these live streams, is to find out where people are watching from. So you don't have to put your street address in, but just let us know, like, what city you're watching us from. It's we now have over close to 3,000 people that are subscribed to our YouTube channel, and literally around the world. So it'd be nice to sort of see who's with us tonight. Also, down in the description of this YouTube channel, there's an opportunity for you to donate. If you are in a position to do so, help us, continue to be able to live stream. Like everything else, everything costs money. So if you can offer us a little bit of support there, that'd be great. All right, so let's move on to the man, Mikołaj Kopernik. We also know him as Nicholas Copernicus. And today is his actual birthday, February 19th. He was born February 19th, 1473. Today he would have, so this is technically his 549th birthday. Doesn't look a day over 430. 549th, a day over 4. It's better when you actually do the joke properly. But anyway, this particular painting is by a Polish artist called Jan Matejko, and he actually did it in 1873. But this is actually a picture of him on top of his observatory at Fromberg Cathedral, which I'll talk a little bit about in just a little bit. So, again, he was born on this date, 1473, in Torun, Poland. And he actually just was a phenomenal student. And just to give you a little bit of background, he studied mathematics, art, both canon law in the church as well as civil law, and was a physician. He studied medicine. He actually traveled to Italy to enroll in a canon and civil law program at the University of Bologna. And during that time, he met an astronomer by the name of Domenico Maria Novaro de Ferrara, who deeply influenced his interest in astronomy. And we have to thank Domenico for setting Copernik on his way to changing the way we look at the world and our place in the universe. Copernicus spoke German, he spoke Polish, Latin, Greek, and Italian. And actually all of his academic work was actually published in Latin. Eventually Copernik returned to Poland in 1503 and ultimately moved into this Fromberg Cathedral, and that's where he built his observatory. Now, one thing, when I talk with people and ask them about, what's Copernik famous for, sometimes people will say, he invented the telescope, and he didn't. Actually, it was Galileo who invented the telescope, and that was some 80 years after Copernik. So there was no telescopes. It was all just visual observing and noting down what he saw. And this is really where he really began his studies that ultimately resulted in what we call this heliocentric planetary system. Helios is the Greek word for sun, centric meaning the center of it. Up until then, people thought that the sun, all the planets revolved around the Earth, and something bothered Copernik, and it was this. We call this concept retrograde motion. So if you look here in the middle, now here we have the sun, the depicted by the little yellow dot, and the Earth's orbit here, and going counterclockwise. And we'll take sort of 7 different snapshots as it's going through its orbit. Now you also notice Mars's orbit, again, it's further out, so it takes longer to get around the Earth. So it's not following in the same right along with the Earth. And so if you look at one particular point in time, you might see Mars here in Gemini. And then a little bit later, you'll see it in Cancer. and then a little further it's approaching Leo, but then a little further in time, wait a minute, it's going backwards. What's going on there? And then, then even further in time, it continues to go backwards, but now it's starting to go back in the same direction again. And then the sixth snapshot in time, you're at 6, and then finally the 7th is Leo. And again, we call this retrograde motion. And so again, this sort of bothered, but it's what set Kopernik off on trying to figure out exactly what was going on. He did the math and then ultimately developed this heliocentric model of the solar system. Ultimately, he wrote this pretty extensive paper called On the Revolutions of Heavenly Spheres, and I won't attempt even to pronounce it in Latin. Ultimately, it was published in 1543. And at that point, Kopernik was very, very sick and unfortunately was unable to actually defend his work. And there's some stories that say that he actually had a copy of it in his hand when he had finally passed. However, the problem was that the church put this book on their list of forbidden readings, and it remained there for almost 3 centuries. However, further discoveries, finally led to the complete acceptance of heliocentrism in the 17th century. And one of the people that sort of helped make that happen was this gentleman here. It's not Mikołaj Kopernik, but it's Galileo. And Galileo was, in fact, the person who invented the telescope and was the person to ultimately discover 4 of Jupiter's, which I think now we're closing in on 80 moons that we know of, but we call them the Jovian moons. And so it's watching these moons orbit Jupiter is what ultimately helped support Copernic's theory of the heliocentrism and how objects will orbit, a larger object in space. And ultimately, this change brought what was known, sort of started what's called the Copernican Revolution. All right, so again, he passed away in 1543, but ultimately it took a long time. He really wasn't buried in a place of honor, and it took really over 2 centuries for people to ultimately find where Kopernik was buried. And scientists actually tried unsuccessfully to find his grave in 1802, 1909, 1939. But finally, in 2005, Jerzy Gazowski, a professor at the Institute of Anthropology and Archaeology in Pultusk, found what he thought to be the burial place of the astronomer. The remains were exhumed and then ultimately were sent to a police laboratory in Warsaw. And the laboratory work done both in Poland as well as in Sweden ultimately confirmed that they had found the remains of Mikołaj Kopernik. And he was ultimately then buried, I believe it was in, I think it was 2009, in the cathedral in Frombork, Poland. So, and you can go and visit visit this grave in that cathedral. So, to honor Kopernik, a couple of things came out of this. There is on the moon the Copernicus crater, and it's a pretty extensive crater. And it's something we can see typically after the first quarter. It's sort of in the second half of the moon. There's a chemical element named after Kopernik called Copernicum. It has the atomic number of 112. Technically, it's sort of a synthetic atom. It doesn't really exist officially in nature, but it's the one thing that has the atomic number 112, so it exists, and they call it Copernicum. Of course, there have been a number of schools, again, predominantly in Poland, but throughout the world named after Copernicus. There's actually a science center in Warsaw called the Kopernik Science Center. Actually, I was fortunate enough to visit it a couple of years ago. It's just an outstanding place. They get over 1 million visitors a year. But we were first. And we'll talk about that. That's what the Kopernik Observatory is named after. Nicholas Copernicus. So back in the early 70s, there was a group of Polish immigrants, people of Polish heritage here in Broome County, that wanted to commemorate Copernic's 500th birthday. So 1973, he would have been 500 years old. And as I like to say, rather than buy a statue and plunk it in a park, say we're done, Kopernik Society raised money and ultimately bought the land to build the observatory. Now you see there are 5 gentlemen on this slide here. The gentleman on the left is Dr. Ed Kozlowski. He was a dentist in Binghamton and was one of the founding members of the Kopernik Society. On the far right is Richard Miller, also another founding member of the Kopernik Society. He was a state rep for many years. To the left of Richard Miller is Richard Kilsey, and he was the architect that built the original observatory, our main classroom and the 2 domes. And unfortunately, Richard just passed away just a couple of months ago. I noticed that his obituary in the paper. Then continuing to the left, the gentleman in sort of the plaid coat is Ed Neslick of Neslick Construction, and he was the main contractor for the event, to build the observatory. And then finally, this gentleman in the dark jacket, some of you will probably recognize as Commander James Lovell of Apollo 13. This is 2 years after his Apollo 13 mission that unfortunately had to abort landing on the moon, but they did obviously return safely. And so he actually came up here to help us install the cornerstone, which is actually physically right behind me. When we go back to the camera, you'll be able to see it behind me. So soon after it was built, Kopernik was donated to the Robeson Museum downtown. So again, here's the original observatory with our 2 domes. For those who have been here, this is our 6-inch dome up here, our 14-inch dome here, and this is our physics classroom right there. But as I said, it was donated to Robeson. They then, in the 1990s, had a major capital campaign, expanded it to where it is today, adding the 3rd dome that has our Kresge telescope, and added about 5 times the amount of floor space, a lot of classrooms, and this is what it looked like up until a couple of years ago, and we'll talk to that in a little bit. All right, so one of the things that Kopernik is we are more than just 3 telescopes on the top of a hill. We are, in fact, an informal STEM education facility, and so we do a lot of things up here. We have this, we call it our Link Summer STEM Exploration Summer Camp. So here's one of our students going out on a nature hike, managed to capture and examine a salamander. But we do much more than that. We do a weekend and some school holiday classes. We have a program called Girl Power Science. And here are girls, we're really trying to promote more women in STEM. And so these Girl Power classes are typically aimed at students that are between 3rd and 8th grade. And we'll have a female subject matter expert come and talk about what they do in work. And this particular, the slide from what you're seeing right here is actually, we had an astrophysicist from NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center talk about carbon dioxide levels and the work that she's doing, looking at how it affects global warming and things along those lines. And then at the end of the presentation, the girls got to line up and ask their questions. And one of the girls asked a question, how did you get interested in astrophysics? Because she has her PhD in it. And her answer was great. She said, well, when I was in college, I was an English major, but my boyfriend was a physics major. And we would go from observatory to observatory. I eventually dumped the boyfriend, but I kept the astronomy. And now she's got her PhD in astrophysics and works for NASA down at the Goddard Space Flight Center. But we believe education starts early. We offer a program called Kopernik Kids. This is for kids that are 3 years old through 6 years old, with with a parent for 90 minutes or so once a month. Here, this student is learning about friction and different, how friction is different depending on what surface you're on. We have a portable planetarium that we are able to take to schools and libraries. We've done corporate events, clubs. So it's something that has been a great resource for us. We're fortunate that the Floyd L. Hooker Foundation provided us the funding for that planetarium. Again, getting back to our summer camp programs, here we have a student looking at the sun safely. We've got a solar filter that takes almost all of the light out, but makes it safe for us to look at the sun. And we always, whenever we can, have an opportunity to get the students to, to observe while we can. Again, in our summer camps are for kids that are entering second grade through 12th grade. Of course, we always love our Friday night programs, where we have people come up and listen to a talk on some aspect of science or technology. It's a whole range of topics. It's not just always astronomy. We end up, sometimes, like one of the things we had a picture of, we actually had a presentation on the physics of music. Why does an oboe, a trumpet, and a violin all sound different playing the same note? So it's a way to just learn more about how the world works. And anyway, so it's the Friday nights are always a lot of fun. And then, of course, after the program, if it's clear out, we take you outside, and I always like to say you're not allowed to leave until you look through a telescope. So, and so we did have a couple of questions that came through here on Facebook. One was asking what year the picture was with the two domes. Let me see if I can go back here to that a little bit. I'm not certain of the picture. I want to say it is probably something in the area of the mid-70s at that time. It's interesting because now I see where a lot more bushes are around our entrance, and we now have a nice monument out front. And of course, the gazebo was added much later. So, anyway, so we're going to move on. Again, so we can once the Friday, once the presentation is over, we ask people to go ahead and take a look outside. And so this is also our new 14-inch telescope, which is another great instrument to look through. We also do events. So when there's things going on like solar eclipses, back in 2017, there was a solar eclipse that lasted, that brought 1,500 people up to here. So the next eclipse is actually going to be on April 8th, 2024. The path of totality will be through Buffalo and Rochester. We'll be almost in the path of totality, but we'll have a little sliver of sun left over. One of the other things that we've done here over the past 6 years is design, build the Kopernik Science Park. It was a project that we collaborated with the Junior League of Binghamton, the service organization of women, and they just were fantastic to work with, and ultimately created a STEM-themed playground. And we got donations from New York State, the Gannett Foundation, Decker Foundation, Hoyt, me, and Kresge Foundations, as well as individual people. We also got engineering students from Binghamton University built us this nice little orange bridge in here. We've had 2 scouts actually get their highest award in scouting through service projects here. Caitlin Sonnen, one of our interns, did all the signage for these for all the structures on the park, including a QR code that takes you to our website, and you can learn more about the individual structure. And Anthony Dudiniak, who did his Eagle Scout Award with the Phases of the Moon signage for us. And then finally, again, Jeremy Carty does these great live streams, but he's a great photographer as well. In fact, he did a nice job on this picture of the science park, and you can even see a bit of the Milky Way up here in the sky. So, all right, one of the things we did was we invited people to come and do some kind of a celebration for Copernik's birthday. And for those people that entered, we would say we would pull 2 names for those people who actually submitted memberships. I'm going to show you some of the artwork that came back. So this one was from, actually, hold on a second here. I had my notes written down. Yeah, we had a total of 4 entries. This was from the Marie family. Get Saturn and somebody in a rocket ship and maybe even an alien ship there. The next one is the Schaefer family. They've already got their birthday cake ready to go, and reading up on the Copernican revolution. This was from the Peterson family, and I love how it sort of shows that all that you can see, all that comes in through that telescope. And then there was actually a video submitted. Unfortunately, I couldn't grab it, but it had this sort of ethereal kind of look to it. And so what I'm going to do here is I am going to switch back to my my Zoom window here, and I'm going to pull the cards. So I've got my bowl is going to be my little space helmet, and I've got 4 cards with the names in it. I don't see what I'm pulling out. So the first card will be the Marie family. So congratulations to the Marie family. And the second card is going to be this one right here. And it's from the Short family. So actually, the image you see right here is the Short family. Have won a membership. And then, actually, you're looking at me, so I can go back to the PowerPoint. And so that's actually on our Facebook page. So if you want to go and check that out, you can see that going. And then also the Marie family. So those two, one, we thank all people who entered. And for those of you who don't have or don't know about a membership, Kopernik membership is actually pretty valuable because we belong to the ASTC, the Association of Science and Technology Centers. And with a Kopernik membership, you can get into over 350 other science centers. So membership information is right on our website. So we are going to take a brief break so I can get our next speaker connected in via Zoom. And but before that, we have to sing Happy Birthday. So with some little editing, we made it 549. So okay, so we're going to sing Happy Birthday, and we'll call him by his first name, Mikołaj. So ready? Here we go. Sing with whatever voice God gave you there. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mikołaj. Happy birthday to you. All right, we won't be blowing out any cakes here for some time, I think. But anyway, coming up soon will be Bob Noya, who is going to be talking about it, doing his presentation on Who Says Astronomy Can't Be Funny. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of put this on hold for a little bit, and it says we'll be back at 7:30. So we'll make it 7:35. So we're going to give you about 5 minutes and get Bob all connected in, and then we'll transition to his presentation. So take a break and be back in about 5 minutes at 7:35. Look forward to seeing you then. All right. It shows that I should really be. We need to hire an audio director. I just discovered that I didn't have my audio turned on for the YouTube channel. So anyway, I apologize. And anyway, let me back up a little bit then. We're very fortunate to have Bob Noya back to speak with us. He spoke back in the fall of last year during our Astrofest, and I still get comments about his presentation. Good comments, by the way. And anyway, Bob has offered sort of a slightly different approach to an astronomy presentation, and I think you'll really enjoy it. And so, Bob, I'm going to let you take it from here.
Okay, I'm going to share the screen, and are we good now, Drew? Can you see it?
Yes, we can. We're good.
Okay, everybody can see the thank you slide, I assume?
Yep, we are good.
Okay, great. So I just want to start off by thanking Patrick Manley and Drew Deskur for setting this up for tonight and inviting me to give this presentation. And I want to thank everyone who helped organize this event. And most of all, I want to thank all of you for tuning in wherever you are located. So this is going to be the most non-scientific, most non-technical, and perhaps most nonsensical presentation I've ever given to amateur astronomers. You will learn absolutely nothing tonight about astronomy or space. But I do hope you can get a few laughs, and I hope that I'm able to demonstrate that astronomy is not always serious business. It can actually be very funny. I hope you can all adjust your settings so you get the maximum screen to see my cartoons. I'm assuming that everyone in the audience can read English, so I'm not going to be reading them tonight. I'm going to be saying very little after my introduction, which, trust me, is a very good thing. I have more great cartoons than I can show tonight, so I'll just kind of keep going until Drew tells me that my time is up, and then maybe leave a few minutes for Q&A. I do want to give a couple acknowledgments, and the inspiration for this presentation comes from my friend Glenn Chappell, who's a contributing editor to Astronomy magazine. Several years ago, when I was living in Massachusetts and editor of Sky and Telescope, I attended a presentation he gave to the Gloucester Area Astronomy Club in Massachusetts about cartoons, and it was just a lot of fun. I loved it. He later sent me all of his cartoons, so that gave me like a lot to choose from for tonight's presentation. And then another friend of mine from Massachusetts, Julie Kaufman, you can see me with her in 2016. She also collects astronomy cartoons, so she sent me many dozens as well. And then I found a lot online. All you really have to do is Google astronomy cartoon or alien cartoon, space cartoon, and lots of good cartoons come up. So my cartoons tonight come from many, many different sources. Yeah, I especially want to thank Glenn and Julie.
I actually belong to a Facebook group that's astronomy cartoons, and and they get some great ones. And I usually clog up the Astronomy Club's Discord channel with a bunch of those. So.
Oh, great! Maybe you can share some of your favorites with me that I don't show tonight.
Oh, very good.
Okay, so what I'm going to do first, though, is I'm going to start off with two featured cartoonists. First up is Sidney Harris, who is probably the most famous science cartoonist of all time. And I think probably all of you who are tuning in tonight at one time or another has seen some of his creative work. I should just mention, too, if you enjoy his cartoons, I really encourage you to check out the article he wrote for the November 2014 issue of Sky and Telescope about the inspiration for his cartoons. So I'm just going to kind of go through them. I'll, spend not a whole lot of time on each cartoon, but enough that you can read them and hopefully soak in the humor.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I get that comment all the time up here, in that people come up here who live in the area and they look up and like, where did all these stars come from?
That's right. And this makes fun of the fact that professionals really don't look through telescopes anymore.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This one's a little more technical, but this is a good one.
Oh gosh, yeah. Okay, you can look up gravitational lensing. Exactly.
Yeah. That's about the most technical slide by cartoon in the whole presentation.
Yep.
I like this one. Yeah, in false colors.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get a whole bunch of those in false colors from the James Webb, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yep. Because it's infrared. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not one up.
all right. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this was a good one.
Yeah. 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 Well, we're gonna get sucked up by a black hole someday.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
As they move quickly out of the building.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Oh, this is a good one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Never cared much for that in school. Apparently, he doesn't either. Yeah.
Now, having spent my 30-some years as a science journalist, I'm one of those two reporters on the left.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's a very famous one. I bet you many of you have seen this one. This might be his most famous cartoon. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that was his. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen
You
that.
can see his signature kind of below the blackboard. Yep. He has very distinctive style and signature. Yeah. And by the way, that figure at the top, that is correct. That, you know, his cartoons are actually scientifically accurate, which makes them even better. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's like the Big Bang Theory actually had, you know, physicists on staff to make sure that the science was right.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Well, I don't know. Might have been.
I don't know either. Okay, now the other featured cartoonist is a young, much newer cartoonist named James Paley, whose work I just recently discovered, and I really encourage you to check out his really fun website, planetpaley.com, and I'm going to show you a bunch of his cartoons now. And one thing that's really cool is that he lives in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I live in Hershey, about an hour's drive away, and Allentown was where my mother was born, and she's still alive and kicking at age 93. Wow. So, I just want to thank James and Sydney and all the great cartoonists who share their inspiration and creativity with the world. And I like this one, yeah. Yeah, his cartoons are they have a really fun and charm about them.
Well, that's what Copernicus was all about, right?
That's right, that's right, that's right. This is perfect for tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and more to come for the moon.
That's right.
More to come.
Oh, this is another good Kopernik one.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the Emmy.
I like his caricatures of the planets too. They're really fun.
Yeah, yeah. All questioning.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Okay, here's a couple about Mars now.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's like The Martian, but for robots. Well, we'll find out.
And what's funny is it's possible NASA has already detected life on Mars. They've detected methane in the atmosphere on Earth. Most of the methane in Earth's atmosphere is biogenic. There were Viking experiments in the 1970s that possibly indicated life. So it's possible that we have actually found evidence for life on Mars. Maybe not like that kind of life that we see here, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Really. Just keep the smoke inside the electronics.
Yeah. Oh, I love this one.
Oh. Oh yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. I'm not sure which planet gets the most oohs and ahs from when you look through a scope.
Yeah.
It's gonna be pretty close. Yeah.
Now, if you like this cartoon, I do want to mention there's a really good movie. It was a European-made movie called Europa Report that's about humanity's first trip to Europa. And if you like this cartoon, odds are you'd like that movie. I definitely recommend it.
All right. Cool. I'll have to check it out.
This is a good one, too.
Oh, yeah. I guess
Titan, of course, is the largest moon of Saturn, and it has hydrocarbons on its surface, although it's very, it's like 280 below zero or something like that on the surface of Titan. It's ridiculously cold, even colder than upstate New York in the winter.
Only by a couple of degrees. Exactly.
Oh, this is a great one.
Right. Yeah. Asking about our extending our car warranty.
Oh, this is a great one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
This is maybe my favorite.
Okay. Yes, exactly. Exactly. It's never what you expect. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. It's like the. Are you going to do the flat Earth eclipse?
Yeah. Oh, I have another flat Earth later.
Okay.
Now this one's also a little subtle. This is a play on the famous Schrodinger's cat experiment in physics.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially for those people with cats.
Yeah.
No. You're right. Actually, the cat is supposed to be in the box.
Right. Okay. Now I'm going to go to themed cartoons. So since I'm giving this to amateur astronomers, the next bunch of cartoons are going to be about amateur astronomers. And of course, here we see they're the pinnacle of evolution.
Yep.
Oh, this is a great one.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I like that one.
Oh, nice. Love it.
I think this is actually like on a T-shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a lot of that from the Kopernik Astronomy Club here.
Okay, this one's really good.
Yeah, that pretty much maps into almost any hobby. I'm also a ham radio operator. It's the same kind of thing. So.
Oh, this is a great one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's right. It just becomes this black hole where all the money goes. Yes, absolutely. We have that. We lose about the first 10 degrees of horizon because of the trees around here. But it's all right. We're doing all right.
Oh, this is great. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yes, yes, of course. And those people with Dobbs know what this is about.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is actually where our wheelchair accessible telescope is really outstanding. Oh, yeah, exactly. and this time it's not a cloud.
Okay, now the next several are about the night sky.
Mm. Yeah.
Oh, this is good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, my daughter calls me the fake astronomer for pretty much the same reason. Yeah. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah. As people can probably guess, this one and a bunch of others come from the New Yorker magazine.
Right. Absolutely. Yep. Oh. Oh, murder. 10,000 pieces. Love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yes, the electric bell.
Although you could say they're all solar powered.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, sure. Oh, yep. Yep.
HBO.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we don't get to see Northern Lights very often, but there's actually, if you recall, we had, back in 2003, there was this huge solar storm, and we had this picture in our computer room of the of all three of our domes behind this red curtain of aurora. It just was outstanding.
Hey, a few about eclipses and transits.
Yeah. April 8th, 2024.
Yeah, that's right. It's coming up soon.
Yeah.
Okay, now the next few are about tips for eclipse chasers from a cartoonist and eclipse chaser in Jamaica named Bill Kramer. So this one is advice about how if you're going to go see an eclipse, don't try to be figuring things out how to operate your camera during the eclipse.
Yeah.
He's trying to figure things out and everyone else is marveling at the eclipse.
Right. It's not like that happens every week.
Yeah. Oh, like that.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Oh, so many times.
Yeah. When's the next one? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then here's one about the Venus transit.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah, exactly. At the last one, I was telling the kids that were walking around here, I said, okay, the next people to see the Venus transit will be your grandchildren.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, now we're going to make fun of professional astronomers and scientists.
Mm. Nice. Wow.
Yeah, I like that one.
Oh, that you're right. We should start a new a new way to call it there. Yeah.
So this is one similar to the earlier one, except this one's about professionals.
Yeah. There it is. Yeah, you're right. Nowhere near a telescope.
Yeah. Okay, here's one far side from Gary Larson.
Yeah. Sure.
Here's one, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Oh, right. Yeah, and then some.
Yeah. Oh, this one's fun. I like this. Well, I like all of them because I picked them.
Yes. Same thing like when you're writing a paper and you forget to hit save on your computer. Same thing happens in the electronics lab when you're powering up your prototype for the first time. Wouldn't be the first time. Yeah. Fortunately, most of the birds aren't flying at night, so that usually is not a problem.
Yeah. I like that. This one, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. There you go.
Okay, this one's a little sophisticated. There's going to be people, if you're not familiar with this science, you might not get this slide, but for people who know just a little bit about stellar evolution and how astronomers, they use the term metal to describe every element heavier than hydrogen and helium, and the star killer is iron. When the core of a star is iron, then the star dies. And you can see that at the bottom, all the really heavy elements get ejected by supernova explosions.
There it is. That sums it up.
Yeah. So maybe people did learn something tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There it is.
I had Italian pasta for lunch today.
Yeah.
And what this means is when matter and antimatter meet, they annihilate each other. So this is, pasta and anti-pasta. Okay, this is a good one, yeah.
Oh. He'll go on forever.
Okay, now a couple about Einstein. He's very much a subject of cartoonists. So this came out a few years ago after LIGO discovered gravitational waves, which of course Einstein's theory predicted existed. So, yeah.
That's the amazing thing about him. All the stuff that we're now just finally able to prove that he had theorized 100 years ago.
Okay, this is the only political cartoon in the presentation, and I thought it would be safe to include this one. I hope people aren't going to send me hate mail.
That's right. You can send it to me.
Okay, send it to Drew.
Yeah, but I'm with you there. It is true. Okay.
So this is related. This is about relativity, black holes, and the laws of physics.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Now my kids go to bed later than I do, so.
Oh, this is a good one, yeah.
Oh, it's true. Just don't look down.
Yeah. Now this is there's the joke that physicists tell each other that goes there's only two places in the universe where the laws of physics are not obeyed. One of them is at the center of a black hole, and the other one is Hollywood.
Bada boom.
Okay, this will be especially amusing to golfers.
Exactly right. Exactly right. That's why I gave up golf.
Who was it? Mark Twain said, "Golf is a good walk spoiled."
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So here's another black hole here.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, this is a good one. Yeah.
Just like the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so then we've got a couple here that are about the Hubble Space Telescope.
Yeah. Yeah, you do have to be careful when you take your telescope out into your front yard. Honestly, I'm looking at the Orion Nebula.
Sure you are. Okay, now this one, you have to go back to when Hubble was, this is a much older cartoon from the early 90s. When Hubble originally was launched, it had a flawed primary mirror, and astronauts had to be sent up to correct for it. So initially its pictures were blurry. So this is making fun of the early photos from Hubble. Let's hope this doesn't happen with the James Webb Space Telescope. Yeah, this one's funny. So this is
Love it. Love it.
Okay, now we're getting to where Hubble's really working great.
Yeah. Turn off.
Of course, now it's Caitlyn, or what's Caitlyn Jenner?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
This is the dream of amateur astronomers, right, Drew?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Let's get above it all. Although we actually, during the blood drive we had yesterday, I took an astroscan out with the sun funnel and was showing people the sunspot on there. So,
oh, cool.
They know it's hot. It's the sun.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So anyway, maybe we should do that to one of our scopes. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the next few now are about cosmology, about the origin and expansion of the universe.
Nice. Yeah.
Oh, this is a great one.
Yeah.
So the idea behind this cartoon is that there are theories that our universe could have been created in the laboratory in a pre-existing universe, and they did some kind of physics experiment, and that gave rise to the Big Bang and the origin of our universe.
And those aliens look just like the one that the Polly guy wrote, right?
Yeah. Unemployment office.
There it is. Yeah.
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 Okay, this has a little bit of political content, but not too much.
Yeah.
Okay, now a couple about the vastness of space. You are here.
Yeah. Right. Thank
the
you.
Department of Astronomy. Yeah.
I've been in some malls that even that seems like their maps are about as helpful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I had to have some Calvin and Hobbes in here.
Yeah. Calvin and Hobbes can be really pretty deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now the next few are about the asteroid impact threat.
Yeah.
Space program.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just saw this recently. Yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. What me worry?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was teaching some fourth grade, some pre-K to second graders a couple weeks ago about asteroids, I sort of used this joke with the teachers, and at least they got it.
Yeah. And by the way, this must be like Canadian or British because of the way they spell center.
Oh, right. Look at that.
Yeah, yeah, because they make it R-E.
Yeah, we actually have a piece of the Behringer meteor.
Oh, cool. Yep.
Yeah. Why is that? Why is that? Huh. Oh.
No, this is good.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the next one. Yeah, exactly.
And this probably, I bet you a lot of people tuning in tonight saw the movie Don't Look Up about an asteroid hitting Earth, and nobody seems to care other than the astronomers who discovered it.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I've yet to see it. So
yeah, I liked it. The movie, I didn't love it, but I'm glad I saw it. I saw it once. I don't have much desire to see it again, but I'm glad I saw it. Okay, now the next few are about meteor showers. Right. Yeah, no, meteor showers do not wash stars. That is definitely true. Yeah. Okay, this one's kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah. Oops.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like that car that was it New York or New Hampshire that got hit by the meteor?
That's right. Yeah, it was New York, Peekskill, New York.
Yeah.
Not that far from where you are.
Oh, okay. Well, and looks like a meteor. Guess it was.
Oh, this is a great one.
That happens to me so much. Like you'll have a meteor shower event up here, and I'll be looking one direction, then I'll turn around and look at another direction, and then like the whole crowd goes, "Oh, that was great!" It's always in the direction I'm not looking.
And now the next few are about astrology and pseudoscience.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Nice. There it is. Yeah. Bizarro, of course.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah. You have to print it once and you're done. Why not? Yeah. Blame it on your horoscope.
Yeah.
Yeah. There it is.
Yeah. Oh, this is really good. Yeah.
Oh yeah, closer to home. I love this. I'm out of here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, this goes, of course, back to the 2012 doomsday hoax in the Mayan calendar. I can't believe people actually believe that we were in trouble because of the Mayan calendar, but apparently people were afraid, and for ridiculous reasons.
I think.
Okay, now back to the Flat Earth here, the Flat Earth Society.
Oh, there it is.
And if you're wondering about the Flat Earth Space Program,
Oh, Slova. Oh, excellent. Oh, dear.
okay, and this one makes fun of how the star names.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Next. There it is. Yep. All right. Oh, Mark Lynch. All right.
Guess that means men really are from there.
Yep, pretty much. Hold my beer. I want to try something. Not gonna be married for long. Yeah.
Oh, this is great.
Thank you. Yeah. It's true. And it's quite an honor to have that chunk of ice named after you, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, this one, I hope people won't find this a little too risque. We'll just leave it there. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you show people the Hubble Deep Field and say, all right, now, how significant do you feel? No, I haven't seen that one. That's a great one.
Okay, now we're going to space travel and exploration. Now, this cartoon is not really intended to be funny. I used to work at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center many years ago, and one of the engineers had this on his or her door, and I photographed it. And I love this. Even though it's not really funny, I like the message in this cartoon, so I wanted to include it.
Yeah, that's true. So much that we learn, and
yeah,
and learning on the way to getting there too.
That's right. Yeah.
But apparently not too thin to play golf. Yes. Actually, if I can stop here for a second,
yeah.
we had an opportunity to have our students talk to an astronaut on the space station through our ham radio set up here with one of our camps. And one of the questions the student asked was, what happens when you sneeze during a spacewalk?
Oh, wow.
That's a good question. And he said, well, actually, it's happened to me twice. He says, usually what you do is you just tilt your head down and sneeze into your chest. But one time, it caught me completely by surprise, and all the boogers went on my face shield, and I'm thinking to myself,
well,
I'm thinking
there you go.
There it is. This was not a setup.
Yeah, this was not. We did not have this plan. I can promise you that.
But I'm thinking to myself, that's probably the first time that one of these, ham radio school contacts ever used the word boogers as part of the answer. So that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Really.
Yeah, this is great. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I heard that one. Still people trying to say it didn't happen.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's true. One way up or one way down. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Oops. My bad. Yeah. True.
Yeah.
And we've had one of them down here at Kopernik from time to time.
Oh, cool.
We get a loan from NASA from time to time. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess if you're ever going barbecuing on the moon, pay attention.
Yeah.
And by the way, look at the very far left. You see a little creature in the crater.
Yeah.
Okay, this is similar joke here.
Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, now the next few are about NASA, and there's a bunch related to when, that NASA hasn't been flying astronauts into space after the shuttle program was canceled. Yeah.
All right.
So there's a bunch that are kind of based on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Although actually the displays down at Kennedy and are just fantastic. I was down there and they actually had a couple of retired engineers, docents, and spent like 45 minutes with me and my daughter. So
wow.
It was I don't play aerospace workers, but they loved what they did, and really happy to share it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Try the moon pies. Yeah.
Yeah, this one's a little dated, but I thought people would enjoy it.
Well, yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, almost. We're not the only ones up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that really is true. The astronauts are really so excited when a supply mission comes up with some fresh food.
Oops.
Yeah, well, somewhere in between maybe would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Some people would decline.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is a mission to Mars here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, really. Yeah. Just to be clear.
Yeah.
Well, those little things that, yeah, you're right. People will snore.
Yeah. This is great. Yeah.
Yeah. Shh. Huh.
Oh, this is great.
Oh. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. I love this one.
Oh. For the revenge. Huh.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. 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 It's they really are extremely scheduled up there. It really is.
That's
something.
right. I think they do get some downtime though.
Yeah, they do.
But yeah, they are working.
Yeah, absolutely.
Except the space tourists.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Another great dad joke. Well, good.
And I used to live in Brooklyn many years ago. I lived in Brooklyn. This one's definitely very relevant to right now.
Yeah, really.
Billionaires.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Incoming.
And this one's somewhat similar.
Oh yeah, yeah. I would definitely say this one. Yeah, yeah. Mm.
Okay, now a couple about space junk, which is actually becoming a bigger and bigger problem.
Absolutely.
And they're even going to take the teddy bear.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's John Glenn.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I don't know if you recall in the movie WALL-E. They.
I never saw that one, but I heard it was good.
It is good, and there's this one scene in there where the spacecraft takes off from Earth because Earth is sort of, degrading into this just one big garbage pit, and the rocket goes through this space junk, and all these satellites are space junks are ricocheting off of it. So yeah, this is pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, this also reminds me of the movie Gravity.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, I wasn't really crazy about it, but it was highly inaccurate scientifically, though.
I think that.
I mean, it was interesting, but it was not. People thought, "Oh, this movie's accurate." It is not accurate at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if you watch a Hallmark movie and they have musicians pretending to play an instrument, and if you're a musician, it just absolutely kills.
Yeah.
So it's same thing. All right.
So the next bunch are about Mars. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, there they are.
Yeah. All your missing socks are on Mars.
Yeah. And the top of your Tupperware.
Yeah, this is, pointing out that these NASA rovers last, much longer than they're touted to last. They've actually been amazingly successful.
90 days they were supposed to do.
And then they go for years.
Yeah.
Huh. Oh, this is great. This is one of my favorite.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Ouch. Oh, and Waldo. Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Okay, now the next few are about the moon and the planets. So here's what the moon believes.
Yes, lunar centric. Love it.
Yeah. Okay, this is so true.
Yeah. Some days, absolutely. Yeah, and that too.
Yeah.
Before you know it, it's Monday again. Yeah. Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah.
Especially I was going to say, we do see bear up here at Kopernik from time to time. I think I've seen it twice in 10 years, but never when the public's been around. We have a deal.
Yeah, I like this. Earth may contain nuts.
Yeah.
Got lots.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now the next are about poor little Pluto. But I am a planet. Poor Pluto.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is just a fun one. I just love the look on, and this is the same cartoonist here.
Yeah.
Aw, I miss you guys. Isn't that cute? Aw. Now they get a little more serious.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah, he's not a planet now.
Yeah, yeah. Although I'm convinced if they called it anything but Pluto, they called it Eldon, nobody would care.
Yeah.
But because they called it the same name as the Disney character, now those are them's fighting words.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yo, excellent. The two cats giving you and the little note. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, poor
yeah.
Pluto, victim of downsizing, selling pencils to make money.
Yep.
Yeah, this is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well.
No planet left behind.
Yeah. Exactly. If you're going to start at Pluto, where are you going to start? There. Exactly.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
Oh, this is great. Yeah.
Yeah. I apologize if my laughing is coming through a little too loud on the audio there. Just. Yeah. Really.
Okay, now the next bunch are about Star Trek and Star Wars.
Oh, there's got to be plenty of material here. Yeah. Yeah. Red shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Christopher Simons. Nice. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah, exactly. Who know? Yeah. Really?
Oh, this is great.
Oh, bizarre. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, here. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now this is a two-parter.
Okay.
So this is part one, and NASA has designed a spacecraft to feed hungry astronauts on long missions, and this is it. This is the spacecraft.
Nice.
I want to be on that. I want to be on that mission.
There it is. Absolutely.
Yeah. I liked it. Okay, now we get to Star Wars. Yeah.
Jeez. I'm glad we finally moved beyond the compact fluorescent twisty bulbs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, really. Whoa. Almost Kelvin and Hobbish. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
Okay, now there are a couple that are kind of just miscellaneous.
Fortunately, we used to run a week-long astronomy camp up here, and fortunately the kids never found this one.
Okay, good. Maybe I shouldn't have shown this one. I'll give them some ideas.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. This is funny. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. That's great.
Okay. This is funny. Yeah.
I'll go out tonight. Yes, of course. Of course.
Yeah. I like this one. Yeah.
All right. There it is.
Okay, so now we've got a bunch of cartoons asking the question, is there intelligent life on Earth?
Yeah, it's maybe they know more than we do.
Yeah.
Hard pass, right? Excellent. Excellent. True. Yeah, really. Oh, really? Oh, goodness.
Okay, now we're going to get to aliens, UFOs, and abductions. And I have no idea where the sign was, but I like what it says.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Lock their doors.
Lock the doors. Moving, nothing to see here. Oh, Gary Larson.
Okay,
all right.
So now we have another featured cartoonist who did a lot of cartoons with aliens. So this is Gary Larson and the Far Side, and you know, I definitely think he was a genius.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, like, who would have thought of this?
Yeah.
Like, you know, who? I mean, this guy had like this really unbelievably creative, some might say demented mind, but who would have thought of this idea? I mean, nobody else in the whole world. 7 billion people. Gary Larson's the only one who would have thought of that. You know?
Really?
Yeah.
Smart aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at least there isn't toilet paper on his foot.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a weird one.
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom. Yeah. Yeah, he just...
I like this one, yeah. Yeehaw!
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to look at the top there.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah. True that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, really.
Oh, this is great. I love that alien.
Oh, yeah. We advise people not to touch it. Oh, yeah, really. Haven't seen one of those in a while. Oh. The kid studied his astronomy in school then. Yeah. Oh, no, right. If they'd only follow the signs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know we're running near the end of my time. I'll give maybe a few more, Drew,
okay,
like
sure,
10 more.
A couple more, yeah.
Okay. So now how the next few are about how aliens view us. They're running away. This place keeps getting weirder and weirder.
Fertile ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're out of here. Yeah.
I'm one of the few people I've never seen Hamilton.
It's worth seeing. It really is.
Okay. Okay. Oh, this is a great commentary. Yep.
Yeah. Exactly.
They still believe in advertising. Of course, the Super Bowl now is all about People talk more about the ads in the halftime show than they talk about the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, nice. Exactly. Noah's Ark too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Always worry about that.
Yeah. This is funny.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Every detail.
Absolutely. Everything right. And the little guy on the left there, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. Well.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Okay, well, here's another political one.
Yeah, really. Oh, well, exactly. Well,
yeah.
Maybe waiting a while. LOL. Nice.
Yeah. This one's a little blurry, unfortunately, but I think people can still read it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 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 Yeah, really. Oh, God.
Oh, this is great. Yeah.
Yo. Yeah. About a year and a half ago.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey. Oh, these are great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like we're seeing a lot more stories about those showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Oh,
yeah, that's
true.
True.
True, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, this is funny. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. This is one I saw in that one of those Facebook groups there. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. We're about 8:40, Drew. How much longer do you think we should go?
Yeah.
And I don't know if people have questions they want to ask. It's not really. I'm not expecting too many, but if people have questions, I'm certainly happy to field them.
All right. I'm sort of trying to scroll back through some of the chats here. A lot of ha-has and thumbs up, and again, I really again, I think. Patrick says, Wally is really fantastic. Gravity was heavy, he said.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah, no, so these have been great.
Okay.
And I, again, I think it's good for us just in general to, not take ourselves too seriously, to find, way to laugh at ourselves and but ultimately, I think, what we do, here at Kopernik, and what we do in the search for our position in the universe, really, is important work. But if you can't have fun while you're doing it, then I think we need to rethink what you're doing. And,
that's right. And that was really the whole spirit behind this presentation. Is every now and then, amateur astronomy clubs. I mean, it's not like they're dealing with life and death things, but they're dealing with sometimes pretty heavy topics. So I thought, especially we got some kind of crazy things going on in the world right now that people can use a laugh every now and then.
Yeah, I do that myself. For once in a while, I'm working up here. I just may take a little break and just say, right, I gotta. I say hit the reset button, but just take a breath. And
that's right.
Well, anyway, I really do appreciate your time, and I'll shoot you that link to that Facebook group. And
okay, great.
And I thank for all of you who have been watching. We still have 42 people watching, and I think what we're going to do is we'll take a small little bio break, and then Jeremy Carty is going to come back, and then he'll let us know what's going on outside, and if there isn't anything that we can do outside, he'll do a little Stellarium survey of what's on the other side of the clouds, and and then but hopefully we'll start getting our Friday night programs pulled together, and there we go. And so that we can actually have people back up here again, and we'll continue to live stream as well. I think again, people have really enjoyed that. What's also nice about it is that these are saved on our YouTube channel, so you can always go back to them. And so if there was a cartoon in here that you liked and wanted to go back and see it again or show it to somebody, just a little later on tonight or tomorrow, go and check out this stream, and you'll be able to check that out. So again,
thanks again, Drew.
All right, thanks again, Bob. I really appreciate it. Again, for those that are watching, and again, if you're in a position to help us out, look in the opportunity to donate. So we'll take a little bit of a 5-minute break here, and we'll end up going to have Jeremy come and do his thing. So I'm going to go back to sort of our standby screen, and we'll come back. It's we'll call it maybe 8:50. I see it's 8:45 now. We'll call it 8:50, and Jeremy will be back, and we'll take it from there. Take care, Bob. Be safe. And
thank you. You too. Thanks, Drew.
We'll look forward to having you up here in person next time.
Yep. Bye.
All right. Take care.
All right, we are back. Hello, everyone. This is Jeremy Cardy, your live stream astronomer, and we won't really be doing too much live astronomy tonight. Actually, I can take my mask off here. I'll show you. I'll talk a little bit about why, because I saw one of our moderators in the chat, Astronomy Web, mention that there are some stars showing through in Binghamton. And as I was watching the stream from Drew and Robert and and by the way, awesome presentations there, I saw that there were, occasionally we would get a bit of a clearing, but we're also dealing with a wind advisory today. So first I'm going to bring you down, if you go to our website, kopernik.org, you can scroll down way to the bottom and click on the clear sky chart. And you can see that around midnight it actually does start to clear up a bit.
Knock down your audio.
Oh, it's a little. Yep. Bring that down a bit. There you go. Now I won't be screaming in your ears. So, yeah, the clear sky chart is reporting. It's an average cloud cover here right now, which is about what I've seen when I've gone out there, and then it starts to clear up as we go into the later hours. Of course, that's also when the moon rises. So as it finally starts clearing, here comes the moon to brighten up the sky, and it's about 80% covered, or not covered, 80%. It's an 80% waning gibbous. But I did see Orion when I went out there. There are stars breaking through, so I encourage you, because this is our winter star party. Go out and see if you have clear skies where you are. I know maybe some people aren't even local to our area in Vestal, New York. So maybe see if your skies are clear, and if it's a little warm too, all the better. Here it's about, I think last I checked was 14 degrees, and it's dropping. So we're sub-freezing here. Not great for telescopes, and on top of that we have wind from 15 to 30 miles per hour. So not great observing weather out there. I did consider, going and setting up my camera tripod rig and getting some wide field shots for you, but even then, fighting the wind there, and I don't want to risk my camera today. So what we're going to do instead is we will go on a tour of what's out in the night sky tonight, and talk about some future observing sessions that we can do, and some things to look forward to there. And that way, especially focusing on this evening's sky, we can go out and, you can go out and see if you have clear skies, compare what I show you today to what you have in your true skies. And we're going to do that using a program called Stellarium in just a moment here. First, I do want to bring attention, of course, most of our viewers are coming from our YouTube channel tonight, so we thank you for watching us there. If you have not subscribed to our channel, go hit that subscribe button if it interests you. We do a lot of observing sessions. We cover major astronomical events. We can scroll down here and you can see a bunch of what we've offered so far, including the lunar eclipse that was nearly total. There's still a sliver of light on it, but nearly total eclipse. That was very exciting. And of course we post our regular Friday night live streams as well. We had an attempt at the quadrantid meteor shower just about a month ago in January, and that didn't pan out too well, but at least we got some nice views of the sky. It did clear up for us, just not many meteors to see. Going back to one of Robert's comics there, you look away for one moment and all of a sudden a bunch of meteors pop out. For us, we were monitoring the whole sky and no meteors showed up at all, except for maybe a few. I have the thumbnails saved there if you want to see them. But yeah, you can visit our channel. We also have a fundraiser going on our Winter Star Party live stream, and it's geared to support this stream and others. It will be attached to all of our major streams that come up, and maybe even some of our produced videos. And you can use that to support Kopernik, our staff, our equipment, and support funding our future live streams too, and our future programs that we deliver to you virtually. So that's available on this stream and future ones too. Okay, so that's enough of YouTube. Let's go ahead and visit Stellarium here. I know I've probably talked that a lot of our viewers' ears off about Stellarium at this point if you frequented our channel. But for anyone new, this is such a great tool to use. If you want to explore the night sky and you have cloudy skies, you're in the middle of a city, so you have a lot of light pollution, anything like that, amazing tool. Or if you are preparing an observing event, or you're just preparing to go out observing with your own personal equipment, great tool to use to plan out your night as well, to see what's out there and what targets you want to go after. So this is what the website looks like, again, stellarium.org. And you can download it for just about any computer that's out there. There is a mobile app, I think, on both Android and iOS. I believe the iOS one is paid, but in my opinion, well worth it. But you can also just view it over the web too. There is a web app you can utilize, and I think it even works on mobile devices. So it's the same idea here. And I'll show you the downloaded application, but that's what it looks like there. But there's less features in the web app, but it's pretty stable. It works pretty well. And if you're just want to go quickly look to see what's out in the sky, it will suffice. But I do encourage you to download the more advanced application. So we'll bring that up here. I'm going to full screen it. There we are. And, first I'll show you, we can go back in time a few hours. Oh, you know what? Let's adjust these settings here, including the atmosphere. The atmosphere was turned off. We usually use Stellarium for our waiting room, but we turned it off for that reason. But I'll turn it back on so we can have a more realistic experience. And it really functions just like a planetarium. Kopernik has a portable planetarium. We bring it around to schools. Just about actually anyone that wants to request it, we can prepare a program for you and price it out and everything. And we can bring it to it. As long as you have a place that accommodate it, high ceilings and a large room, then we can come show you our planetarium. But this is a planetarium at home that works on any screen. And the date and time button is right off to the left-hand toolbar. And of course, that's you have full control. You can go tens of thousands of years in the future or back in the past and see how the skies have changed. Astronomers have worked hard to model how the sky moves, how objects in the sky appear to move, and it's all baked into this application and others like it. So we're currently on Kopernik's birthday, right? That's what we talked about earlier today, what Drew talked about. So February 19th, that is the exact day Kopernik was born. It just so happens, usually we hold Winter Star Party on Saturday, so happens that it lined up this year for his 549th. So this year, today, February 19th, and then I backed it up a few hours so that we could, so this is 3 o'clock, 3:04 in the afternoon. But I want to watch this sunset, so here we go. We'll go hour by hour and watch the sunset quickly. Now we'll just go minute by minute, and then you can see the stars start to come out. We're looking just about due south. We have a very expansive view, and right away you probably notice very famous constellation. And in the waiting room today, you actually were flying to that constellation, and we know that constellation is Orion. So I can turn on the constellation lines and names, so you can see Orion the Hunter in the sky. You can even turn on the artwork here, so you can see what sort of a little bit of the mythology behind it, what Orion is supposed to look like. I'll turn that off for now. And you can see it labels some of the brighter stars like Betelgeuse, this red super giant there. You got Orion's belt right in a row. You also can zoom in and see some deep sky objects like the Orion Nebula. So it's a really powerful tool that you can use to explore the sky. You can even bounce around to different planets too. If you wanted to go to Mars and set yourself up on that planet and see what the skies look like there, they're not too different because we're within our solar system. There's not going to be too much changes in the outer celestial sphere, all the stars, but planets will change, and you'll notice a few other changes too. Of course, there's no moon, at least not our moon, in the sky. There's a couple of others, Phobos and Deimos for Mars. You can also go over here and check out the Horsehead Nebula and the Flame Nebula. You should have, if you watched that whole waiting room video that we showed you in between breaks and at the very start of the stream, you should have been able to see the Horsehead Nebula and the Orion Nebula. But the cool part about that video is that you're not seeing it from a 2D perspective, right? You're not, for all intents and purposes here, when we're looking in a planetarium like this is a celestial sphere where you don't get much parallax, things aren't really moving around each other. So when you zoom into Orion's belt, you're effectively just looking at a 2D image in the sky. Because things are just so far away, you're not going to notice things shifting like you do if you hold out your thumb and you close your eye, blink both eyes open and closed, you'll see your thumb shift, and that's what we call parallax. You don't get that in the sky from Earth's perspective because things are just so far away. But that video I showed you, we were moving way faster than the speed of light in another kind of program, not Stellarium, but similar idea, where you're actually able to travel through the universe. So you're zooming in and flying toward, actually not zooming in, you're flying towards. This is zooming in. In that program, we were flying towards the constellation Orion, and because of that, you start to see the Orion constellation fall apart, because the stars aren't in one plane. They are in their own spots in 3D space. So when you get closer to it, the constellation starts to break apart. You'll notice the 3 stars right in a row aren't exactly aligned along a plane. They are, again, in different positions in 3D space. And that's a powerful tool to show you that if you could travel way faster than the speed of light and explore the universe in that way, then you would really get a greater sense of how these things are positioned in 3 dimensions, rather than the 2 dimensions that we're kind of stuck with when we're observing from Earth. So I can sort of tease an idea that I'm planning on working on in the future. And the working title, I'm calling it Ponder the Cosmos. And it's going to use that same program to put together a series of videos and imagery throughout the universe. You can travel to exoplanets in that program. It's called Space Engine. You can go anywhere you want, and you can record video, and I'm able to share that video with you. And I know everyone, at least in the previous observing live streams, they've really enjoyed the the ambient music that we play in the background when we've done our waiting rooms before, and we included that in today's waiting room too. That's the idea. It'll be a more relaxing take where you can just ponder the cosmos. You can look around at the scenery of different worlds, of different nebula. You can go see the Orion Nebula in 3D perhaps, or visit the Horsehead Nebula in 3D and orbit around it. Visit a black hole. There's so much that can be done, and I would like to just try and share some of that video content with you, especially when we're in this period where we're fighting the weather, super cloudy conditions this winter, and on top of that, cold conditions aren't great for scopes. So we're limited in what we can do when we're in this winter period, but as things warm up, we'll be able to go back into the live astronomy and I have a couple of teases for that too on what we can expect to come up in the springtime. So keep on the lookout. We'll see if we can get a Ponder the Cosmos out there sometime in the near future. And it'll be a nice some more produced content rather than what we've been used to this point, which is live. That's not going away, of course. It'll be some produced, some live, and of course covering all those major astronomical events. Okay, so let's get back into thinking about our night sky, if skies are clear for you where you are. We talked a lot about Orion there. I got a little sidetracked, but you know me. I'm always getting sidetracked. Which is okay. There's a lot to talk about. And you'll see Orion is almost due south as the sun sets. And you can expect that to be the case for at least, another few weeks here. It's a winter constellation, so it's being presented nice and centered almost in the sky. So, let me know in the chat. If you were able to spot Orion where you're located, go outside, see if you can find it, and report back here. It should be, you can easily spot it with those 3 stars right in the row making up his belt, right? And then look above to his shoulder to see if you can see the bright red star Betelgeuse. Now, if you go below the constellation Orion, you come to one that's also nearly due south, or southeast right now. Actually, if we go to current time, there we go. It is due south now. So we were a couple hours back at 6 o'clock. Now we're at 9 o'clock, 9:12. So this is current time, the current sky. So Orion has started to move southwest. We have Canis Major due south. And you'll see in Canis Major is the big dog. And this dog has a very fancy collar. We call that star Sirius. Sort of has a jewel in its collar. And we can zoom in here. You can see it's very bright. It's a magnitude negative 1.45 for those who know about astronomical magnitude. That's a measure of brightness. Negative numbers mean very bright, for those that don't know. You can compare that to Betelgeuse, which is a positive number, 0.45, meaning it's a little dimmer than Sirius. So Sirius is a super bright star. So that means if you went outside right now to follow, to go and search for the brightest star, don't go thinking that bright star is the North Star. It's a common misconception, and if you do that right now, you're going south. You're going to flip your whole compass around. So if we go to the northern sky, the exact opposite, you'll see the North Star is at the tail end of Ursa Minor. North Star is called Polaris. And it's much dimmer than even Betelgeuse there. It's about a magnitude of 2. So it's not terrible. You can see that with your eye. But if you're searching for this bright star, thinking it might be the North Star, that's not going to take you where you want to go. Your whole compass, like I said, is going to be flipped around. So Sirius is a very nice star to look at. But if you're lost, you need to find the North Star to get your bearings. And the best way to find that, because it's a little dimmer, and the constellation Ursa Minor is pretty dim too. All these stars in here are super dim. 4.35, 4.2, those are very dim stars compared even to the North Star. So instead what we do is we use the Big Dipper. All these stars are nice and bright, very similar in brightness too. So it's very easy to put together the Big Dipper in the sky. And once you find the Big Dipper, you can use the 2 stars in this part of the cup and line them right up with the North Star. See that? You line right up, and that, or you can also think about it like the open end of the cup is always facing out towards the North Star. And I'll prove that to you here. We'll do some time traveling again. So this is our celestial sphere. You'll see when we travel through time, the stars move with the celestial sphere. Going minute by minute, you see Orion is moving with the grid, rotating with the grid. So what we can use this celestial sphere for, or at least it gives you some perspective on, is if you took, our Earth and you projected a sphere further out, an imaginary sphere, and you mapped that, you were syncing that up with the stars in the stellar background. That's what you get. You get this coordinate system that we use as a celestial sphere, and it's all aligned with the Earth's poles, so it'll rotate around the same axis as the Earth. So the north pole of the Earth points right into this position in the sky, right about where the North Star is. And then if you could see it, which I will turn off the ground so you can, the south pole points right into that part of the celestial sphere. So the sphere rotates, and it's rotating at the speed of the Earth's rotation, because that's what's causing that motion in the sky, so to speak. It's all relative on how you think about it, but the sky appears to move because we're rotating. So this is a way to map that out, and if we start traveling through time, we'll speed up the clock here, you'll see the Earth starts to rotate, and by consequence the sky is rotating. But is the North Star really moving much? We can even zoom in to really get a perspective on this. It's moving ever so slightly, around this true north axis. So that's the actual point the sky is rotating around, and then you have the North Star orbiting around that point. So let's go back to current time. Now you'll see there are stars that are even closer to that due north point in the sky, but you'll notice they're much, much dimmer than the North Star. These two are magnitudes 10, which is not visible to the human eye. So that's why we choose Polaris specifically. Also worth mentioning, Polaris just so happens to be a very convenient North Star for us right now. It isn't always, and it won't in the future. Thousands of years from now, it won't be a good North Star to use. It'll be too far off, and you'll have to. It'll be somewhat close. It'll give you a rough estimate of where true north is, but you'll also have to get a sense of how far off our celestial sphere is. The northern axis of our celestial sphere is from that North Star. So it's pretty fascinating. It's actually right now, if we travel year by year, you can see the North Star move, and it's getting a little bit closer to that northern axis, but it is moving off. If we travel, let's go to the year 5,000, 500, 5,000. Look how far away it is in the year 5,000 from that northern axis. It really veers off. And that's due to the Earth's precession. You can think of a spinning top, right? As a spinning top slows down, its axis starts to swivel like this and precess around. That's what happens with our rotation over many, many years. The axis starts to point in different points in the celestial sphere, and that means we lose the North Star. So, we have Cepheus here in the year 5,000, we can maybe use as our northern constellation. Ursa Minor and even Ursa Major are getting closer to the horizon there, so they're not as good stars to pinpoint. In fact, in the year 5,000, you have this point in between the triangle of Cepheus that might be sort of centralized or almost equidistant from all 3 points. That might be a neat way to do it, but of course we don't have to worry about it. The North Star for our lifetime will be Polaris, and that's what we can use. A little bit of fun history about the sky, and talking about the future too, of how our skies will change. They're not constant. All right. Now, is there anything, if anyone would like to post in the chat, I always like to refer back here. Is there anything that anyone would like to see in the sky that they might know is out, but they don't know exactly where to look? I'm happy to answer requests there, or any questions. We do have the moon rising up in the eastern sky. Oh, Pat from our Kopernik Astronomical Society says that he had a star show through a very small hole in the clouds in Enwell. So there's another report of some stars breaking through where we're located on this windy and cloudy and cold night. Linda says, we went past Betelgeuse early in that travel. Yes, on that video in our waiting room, Betelgeuse started to move pretty early as you started to fly through space towards Orion. And that's because it's reasonably close compared to the other stars that make up the constellation Orion. Great observation there. AstroWeb says, hopefully someday we'll be able to visit other stars in person. Yes, hopefully someday. You know, the nearest star is a couple light years away, so hopefully we can design a spacecraft in the future that can at least get there in a reasonable amount of time. Maybe not the speed of light, but, you know, a fraction of it, and then we can start to explore extrasolar beyond our sun. Or exosolar, I should say. Okay. So, yeah, like I said, we do have the moon coming up in the eastern sky now, and I think it is a waning gibbous. So we're past full moon, yep. And you can see if we advance the days here. Oh, I got to turn off the ground to do that, though. If we advance the days, we start to lose more light on the moon. But it is above the horizon, so if you go outside, you might be able to spot the moon. Nice and bright, maybe a slight colored reddish hue to it. Oh, what else is it? Now, planets. Not a lot of planets out there that you can see with your eye. Here's, if we zoom in here, Uranus. You can zoom in Stellarium and see what Uranus should look like with all its moons and its ring system. It is out there. You can find it with the telescope, but again, it's not super bright. It's going to be hard to spot. And also with a telescope, it's so far away and it's smaller than the larger gas giants that are closer to us, like Saturn and Jupiter. You can't make out a ton of detail on it. You can just about see maybe some of that bluish color come off it, and you'll start to see it's a disk rather than a point star, point light like the stars show you. But that's a challenging one. Let's put up the ecliptic so I can see if there's any other planets out there. The ecliptic helps us find planets, the moon, the sun also follows the ecliptic. Oh, that's the grid. Hang on. I need this one. There we go. So you can see Uranus is following along the ecliptic. And that's about it. Yep, I don't see another one. I thought Neptune might have been out. Let's see. Nope. It's below the horizon too. Only Uranus right now. So not much in the way of planets in the winter time. Right now, I think Jupiter may have set. Where's Jupiter here? There's Neptune. Oh yeah, Jupiter is very close to the sun now, so not much chance to spot Jupiter with your eye. Maybe you could catch it. How close to the sun is it really? Again, we're backing up in time to see where these planets are. Oh, there's Neptune. Jupiter and Neptune are pretty close in the sky right now, and you might be able to. It's pretty close to the sun. That'd be a challenging one and a little bit of a dangerous one too if you're not exactly sure how to go about it. So we'll go back to current time. So yeah, not many planets. Let's travel forward. So we're at current time. Let's travel hour by hour forward into midnight. That's where we are at midnight now. And here's Venus rising up, and with Mars, in fact. So Venus and Mars are almost right in a sort of cool line there around the ecliptic. and Mercury follows. So as you, if you wake up early, around 6 o'clock, maybe 5:30, you can go outside and look to the southeast and spot a couple planets. Mars is going to continue to get brighter and rise at a more convenient time as we head later into 2022. December is going to be the close approach, so that's an event to look forward to, where we'll start to you'll start to see astrophotos from Mars a lot more as we get closer, because it's a great time to observe as we head later into this year. So look out for that. It'll continue to move westward as time goes by, so it will rise earlier and earlier in the evening, and you won't have to wake up at 6 or 6 in the morning to look at it. All right. Now, on a similar note here, I did want to mention one of the events coming up. If you are, an early bird astronomer, it's April 30th. Oop. I lost my screen. There we go. Sorry, my screen turned black for a second there. Okay, anyways, April 30th to May 1st is the conjunction of Jupiter and Venus. So to show you a little bit about how powerful this software is, we can again travel. I mean, we already traveled 3,000 years in the future, but let's travel a few months from now into late April. So April 30th. And we're going to back up time because you can see the sun is rising earlier in the morning on April 30th here, so we got to bring the sun back down. And you can see on this date, Jupiter and Venus are right on top of each other. Try and center them there. We can zoom in. And that would be probably a pretty neat view through binoculars. You might be able, in a nice wide field, you might be able to capture the moons of Jupiter and Venus as well. And I'm not sure if Venus has any phase at all. It's a gibbous Venus, but that would be noticeable. You'd be able to see that it's not a completely full circle view of Venus. It is cut in a gibbous shape, it'll look more oval shaped in your eyepiece or in your binoculars. So that might be a neat event to focus on. One of the events I wanted to mention, actually, for an observing live stream. So, we'll maybe pencil that one in and get a live stream link out there so you can look forward to that. We'll need to figure out some good wide field equipment to display that one over a virtual environment, but I think we can do it. At the very least, we can bounce between the two without much problem at all. It'll be really easy. But that's sort of in a similar, not as close as the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, but those are pretty close together. Saturn and Jupiter conjunction was last December 2020, I believe it was. Yes. So that's a cool event coming up. Another one I wanted to discuss is also in May. Again, lots of springtime events this year. Not many amazing meteor showers coming up. The Aquarids are the one that, again, also sort of appear in the springtime. And they, I haven't heard amazing things about them, but you can be aware that they're coming up. We try to focus on the ones where we have a good chance of spotting a few. During the course of the live stream, like the Perseids are always a good event in August. So here you have a bunch of planets lined up that maybe we could just do a marathon of on that same day. You have Saturn, Mars, Jupiter, and Venus. So again, pencil that one in. That one's pretty exciting. Now let's go back to current time, and we're going to focus on the moon here because, like I said, on May 15th, there's a lunar eclipse. So let's travel forward to May, and we'll go back to 15. Zoom in, and let's see what happens as we travel through time. There we go, the eclipse has started. umbral eclipse. So we saw the penumbral a moment ago where it was just slightly shadowed. Now this is the umbral, where the actual shadow of the Earth is coming through. And this is a total eclipse. Do you see, even in Stellarium, it's modeling it pretty well. Do you see how we have a fairly bright moon here? It's going to be slightly shadowed from the penumbra. But as you travel further and the umbra covers it more and more, and that brightness of the moon goes away, and you just get full shadow, a blood moon, the stars start to brighten up in the background, and that's very true. You do get to see more starlight on a full moon night. It's that rare occurrence where the full moon isn't so bad because it's doing its own exciting thing with the lunar eclipse, and on top of that, the skies get nice and dark because of that shadowed moon. So it still glows, that red color, and that's because of that light scattering in our atmosphere, the sunlight, and then it's shining on the moon, just like a sunset. Same idea where that color is coming from. So that'll be pretty exciting. That's May 15th. So I'll be busy. April 30th into the May 1st is the Venus-Jupiter conjunction, and then May 15th is the total lunar eclipse. So unlike the November 19th eclipse we had just a few months ago, that one was almost total, but still a sliver of light, so it wasn't a pure blood red moon. This one is going to be a total event. So even if it's cloudy here, I'm going to do my best to hunt that down in a clear sky area and hopefully stream it out to you as long as I have good enough cell coverage. So we will do our best there. So let's go back to current. I think, yeah, those were the only two I wanted to mention in the short term for events I will definitely cover. That's not to say I won't be doing more live streams here. I do want to do one for February on one of the warmer days coming up, hopefully this month sometime. So we can operate the scopes, and I can maybe hunt for some deep sky objects. Then heading into March, I'm sure we'll have some. We'll continue to get warmer weather as time goes by and we enter spring, and then I can. And as we head into the spring, that's a great opportunity to search for some deep sky objects that are out there. They really start to pop out in the springtime. Just again, how the sky rotates and how we're orbiting around the sun, they start to appear. Those nice deep sky objects, like a bunch of galaxies. Things like the Whirlpool galaxy starts to come back around, and there's a lot to observe there. Let's check out the chat here to see if I've missed anything. Oh, Pat says the Rosetta Nebula. Now, I don't know that one by memory, so I'm going to search, and it's something you can do too. If there's an object that you don't know, you can always search. Oh, I guess it does have to have me type it all the way. So we're going to the left of, or I guess eastward from Orion. And there is the Rosetta Nebula. This one, let's see, is it going to tell me? See, I'm not clicked. Oh no, I was clicked on it before. Let's do the search again. Rosetta. It's not telling me the magnitude up there for some reason, the average magnitude of it, but that's okay. So if you want to provide some specs on that, Pat, you're welcome to. Just because I can't speak to this one too much myself, having not fully observed it. But that one's again east of Orion. What else do we have? Jcash is asking Andromeda. Where do you find Andromeda? So Andromeda is getting a little bit more challenging to find in the sky, and it will start to go away as we head into the spring and then into the early summer. It'll become a little bit more challenging to find in convenient hours. But it is out still right now at current time, and it's setting in the western sky, sort of northwest. Almost due northwest. So you go to the constellation Andromeda. So it'll sort of be this line of stars sticking perpendicular to the horizon. And we'll zoom in on this one here. And I usually, I have a good, at least when I'm observing it out in the night sky, I like to count the stars from Andromeda. When you see the full constellation, so you sort of count 1, 2, 3, and then double count the star 1, 2, 3. And you can find the Andromeda galaxy itself. So again, 1, 2, 3 stars in the Andromeda constellation, then again 1, 2, 3 perpendicular to that line, and boom, we can zoom in a little further, and there's Andromeda. So unless you're in a very nice dark sky spot with a really clear view of the horizon, if you went out right now, you would have a fair bit of trouble trying to find that one. It's not super bright, but it is visible to the eye in dark enough areas. And it looks really nice through binoculars. It starts to pop. But we've also already are a few hours into darkness. So if we back up to 8 o'clock to 9, we're 8 o'clock here at 2000. 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, sky starts to brighten again there. So we're going to travel to exactly 7 o'clock. And it's a little higher in the sky. You can see Pegasus down here, and here again is Andromeda. So if you get out there right as the sky darkens, and if you have equipment to set up, set that up as you have some light still, and then you can go on the hunt for Andromeda as it starts to set in the western sky. And you'll have a decent amount of time. But like I said, we are going to lose Andromeda, the Andromeda galaxy, eventually here. And it'll swing back around and start rising in the early morning sky as in the summertime. But eventually it'll be, I think, if we do this right here, I can show you. Let's go, we'll turn the ground off, and I'll show you where Andromeda is going to head. You can already see it's getting close to the sun. So if we go month to month, next month, it's going to be almost right above the sun there, and it'll make its way around. So like I said, once we head into the early summertime, we will start to have a better time observing. If you're an early bird astronomer, you will have to wait until later summer and into fall to start seeing it at more convenient hours again. But for now, take the opportunity while you can to see the last bit of Andromeda before it goes away next month. Okay, current time again, and we'll turn the ground back on. There we go. All right, looking back in the chat, we have a request from Janet. Can you speak a bit about the southern hemisphere? So I'm currently actually in the process as we work on our planetarium programs. That's something we're really want to focus on soon, is observing the southern hemisphere and displaying it in our nice, spherical screen. So you can kind of get the experience of what it's like to be down in the southern hemisphere and what the skies are like there and how they're different. But you can think about this, like if you're in the northern hemisphere, you're missing out on 50% or more of the sky, because we're a sphere, right? So we're only going to be able to see so much of the sky at one time. So if we turn off the ground, you can see the rest of the sky there. So all those constellations, especially those ones that are due south around the South Pole. Remember, that's the South Pole there. If we could look above where the North Star is, that's the north. So there's the south polar axis. You can see a bunch of constellations that those in the northern hemisphere are not familiar with at all. And I'm not familiar with these either because I've never seen them in person. I may have seen a couple of the ones that hang out closer to our horizon. Because the furthest down south I've been is Costa Rica, so I did get to see some, but I was also pretty young, so I don't remember much. but you miss out on a lot. If you want to see a lot of these, you have to go below the equator. So we're working on putting some projects like that together, so you can see, okay, here's our northern sky. You should be familiar with this. Let's fly south and see what our southern hemisphere looks like. And we have a program similar to that you may have seen. That's sort of a holiday-themed one, and we were sort of working on that for Holiday Horizons before we had to cut that program. So we're working on that, and hopefully we can provide you with more information, especially as I continue to learn more about the southern hemisphere myself. So, but that's what it looks like, when you turn off the ground and you can see it. So if only we could turn off the ground in real life, we could spot it. But then where would we even be? Okay. Great requests, great questions, everyone. I see they're still coming in here, so okay, so Happy has some questions about where the colors in the sky comes from, and maybe referring back to that blood moon that we were getting. It's just like, you just think about it like a sunset, right? Think about it like the sun getting lower and lower in the sky, and then all of a sudden, instead of blue skies, we have red skies and pink skies. And that's why, again, that light from passing through our atmosphere and hitting the moon during a lunar eclipse, why it turns the moon a reddish color. It's simply just due to that light getting scattered in our atmosphere. It's similar things happen on Mars, for instance. It has an atmosphere too. But I think it's flipped for Mars, where the skies are sort of a reddish hue in the around noon, and as the sun starts to set, it gets a bluish color on the horizon. So it's not a unique phenomena for sure. And I was actually paying attention to that when I was using the Space Engine program today to make that Orion trip to Orion that we saw in the waiting room. It also simulates that effect. So when you're looking at the sun through thick layers of the horizon, right on edge, you get the reddish hues. But if you simulate it being right above your head and you're looking at the sun from the ground of Earth, you get those bluish hues. So pretty powerful software, that, and it's just a natural phenomena. Nothing too scary there. Oh, Deb is reporting from where they are a nice moon peeking out between the clouds here in Marlborough. Very nice. That's great that we're getting some reports here. Let me know if you're seeing any objects out in the sky where you're located. Again, I think we'll probably have some partly cloudy skies here, but again, it's just so windy, and we have a wind advisory. I don't want to risk our equipment too much, because then if we risk the equipment, then it's gone, and we can't use it for future events. So we're going to conserve it, and then hope for some clear and warmer nights coming up. Start reading through another chat here. Oh, Cash is saying going to Southern Africa in May and would love a tutorial on southern skies. Okay, I can, I will pencil that in my potential programs that we can try and send out to you virtually. Again, something I could even maybe do in that same program I used for that Orion flight. I got to learn more, because it's not something I can just do readily. I don't want to wave my hands too much. I'm doing that a fair bit already. So without nice conditions out there to observe. All right, did I miss anything else in what I wanted to talk to you about today? Again, if you have a request on something you wanted to see in the sky, let me know. We talked about Andromeda. We talked about what planets are out, and there's really not many to see. not much deep sky to see tonight. Now that the moon is above the horizon, it's a bright enough moon that you're gonna start losing more and more of the sky as it continues to rise. So that's a bit unfortunate, but that'll pass. We'll get our dark sky nights again soon, and actually pretty soon now. In fact, early on tonight, if you went out, there was no moon, so you could observe quite a bit, and that will continue as we approach new moon here. So Ursa Major here, we will continue to have that rise up further in the sky. Oh, that's the wrong one. Hang on. Turn that off. And we will be able to start seeing this clearer. This is the Whirlpool Galaxy. I mentioned this earlier, and partially why it's such a nice spring object is because it'll be nice and high at the sky at a convenient hour, and you'll get some nice clear views of it where you're not looking through too much of the atmosphere. And unfortunately, our northern skies here are the portion of the sky that's the most light polluted. It's not terrible, and sometimes you get a low-lying valley fog, and that blocks a lot of the light pollution down below in the city area. But if you're looking at our entire sky, you'll definitely notice, okay, there's a bit of a glow in the north, but then you look due south, and it's nice and clear. So that's good that our southern skies are nice, but the higher this gets, the better for us, and the better it is for imaging. Oh, and that goes in general, too. So that's a Whirlpool Galaxy that we'll watch with great interest as we head towards the springtime. And we're still at current time, so that's right where it is in the sky right now, if you wanted to go hunting for it. It's something you need a good size optic for to brighten it up. That's a magnitude 8, which is not visible to the eye, but would be visible through a telescope. Pat asks, did you already cover the brightest thing beside the moon and the sun is Sirius? Yes, we did talk about Sirius, although I don't know if I mentioned that it is the brightest object there in the sky. I'm not sure. I talked about it's the brightest star currently, but I don't think I emphasized. Yeah, it's the brightest thing that we can spot in the sky, other than the moon and the sun. So we can compare that right now. Here's the moon, not even at its full brightest. Moon is a -12. If we go hour by hour to the sun, moon is -26. And even Venus here, where's Venus at right now? Venus is at -4. But as far as stars go, and as far as what's out right now in the sky, only the moon is brighter than Sirius. Sirius is the brightest one out there. So again, don't go mixing it up, thinking it's a North Star. You will not go the right way. Not good. Oh, I should have mentioned Taurus the Bull here too, with the very famous star cluster, Pleiades. So there's Pleiades. Nice binocular object. Really big, and I'm sure you've seen it with your eye before too. Nice cluster of stars. If you expose just right with a camera, you can capture some of this nebulosity. I always like to refer, in this one area of the sky, you have the Orion Nebula, which is a stellar factory where stars are being born. And then you have the next phase of stellar evolution, where you have an open star cluster where those stars have formed and there's not really much gas to generate new stars, and otherwise now the stars are spreading out into space, forming their own little solar systems. How about that? So you have two important steps of that stellar evolution that you can observe just by moving your head ever so slightly, at several degrees, from right now southwest is where Orion Nebula is, and then to due west where Pleiades, or the Seven Sisters, are. Okay. So, that about covers what I wanted to discuss at what's in the current skies right now. There's so much more out there, and I encourage you to explore this tool yourself. But I think that was a pretty, decent planetarium show I was able to provide you there for tonight. I wish I could have giving you the real skies to look at, but we will try again next time for that. I've mentioned, again, I'll review here. I want to start putting together some more produced videos, like the Ponder the Cosmos working title I pitched earlier. And that's going to be through Space Engine. So look out for some of those, and I love your feedback on that. And we can, I always like to reach out to the community and collaborate a little on how we can change, improve our programming and cater it to you. So look out for the, a test video. Maybe I'll even throw up the Orion flight to Orion that we saw earlier, so you can watch it on your own time. So look out for those. Then we have, in March, I'm definitely planning some deep sky observing session, and I'll try and fit in a regular lunar observing session then too. So prioritizing deep sky though, because we've observed the moon a lot. We'll observe the moon a lot in the spring with the total eclipse. So prioritizing deep sky, because we haven't done one of those in a while. So that's March. April 30th to May 1st is the conjunction of Jupiter and Venus. It'll be an early riser, but I think worth covering because there's a couple of other planets out there like Saturn and Mars too to observe. So planetary observation in April with the conjunction as well that we can get a nice wide field view of. And then May 15th is the total lunar eclipse that we will definitely cover. It's at a much nicer hour than the previous eclipse that was, 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. So this will be more 9 p.m. and then total eclipse is around midnight. So not too bad. You can get to bed at a more reasonable hour and not have to wake yourself up super early or stay up all night with me. So we'll try and cover the entirety of that. Probably ends around 3 a.m. But we'll keep our fingers crossed for clear skies up here. Otherwise, I'll go visit another clear sky location. We went through Stellarium. Again, go to stellarium.org if you want to learn more about the sky. Where you can, if you're not local to us, you can just change your location using the location window here. You can go anywhere in the world and see what your skies. You can go to Antarctica if you wanted to, or the North Pole, and see what the skies look like there, or visit another planet. So there's a lot of options for that. And I encourage you to download the software or visit stellarium.org and use the web application there too. Jcash brought up the topic of the southern skies, and yeah, I'll see if we can push out some kind of content for the southern hemisphere at some point. It would be an interesting program to cover, and maybe we can fit it in to our regularly scheduled Friday night programs. That's probably a good way to go about it. So actually, let me write that down, because we have not talked about that in a while, I know, even in our in-person programs. So it'd be interesting to cover. And then lastly, I will tease a final produced video that I am currently working on, which has to do with James Webb. And there's a lot coming out from James Webb already. It kind of technically experienced its first light, but it's not a cohesive first light. The mirrors are still calibrating and they're aligning, so they can all function as one big mirror rather than 18 small mirrors. So they're still calibrating. There was a really cool image that came out yesterday or the day before that showed the same star, but from each individual mirror. So it was 18 images of the same star from one of the 18 mirrors, and they're using that to calibrate. So eventually it'll just calibrate to one single point star. And the coolest thing about it is that they've set it up now so the pattern matches the design of the James Webb. So that's part of the calibration process. Now it fits that same hexagonal shape that James Webb, the primary mirror is hexagonal. So pretty cool there. And then, yeah, so look out for that. I won't tell you exactly what it is. I'll keep that a secret for now. But there is a James Webb video coming that I'm pretty excited to put together. Hopefully I can get that out in March sometime. Oh yeah, Patrick Pat says JWST first light and the selfie. too. So yeah, the first light image wasn't that patterned one. It was kind of sporadic, where all these little stars of the same star from each mirror. But on top of that first light, there was also a selfie image that it took from the engineering. As I understand it, it's an imager used to calibrate James Webb. It's where these images are coming from, and it was actually able to take a picture of itself, sort of. And you can actually see that primary mirror. It's not something that will continue to be used necessarily future in the mission when it's actually performing science and collecting data, but for calibration purposes, it was able to take a picture of itself. So look those up too. Let's see. Did I miss anything else? Oh, as Pat also said, happy Mikołaj Kopernik Day, everyone. Yes, we'll say happy birthday to Mikołaj Kopernik once more. Again, his 549th birthday. Very exciting. And then Tabitha says there's a Northern Lights live event in March. Oh, that's interesting. Feel free to post in the chat where that may be happening. We've tried to cover some of the Northern Light opportunities here at Kopernik, but it's very rare for them to come this far down south. We're at 42 degrees latitude, so we don't get them often. We have some great images from 2003 where they showed up, but not too often we get them. Maybe as we get closer to solar maximum, we'll have that opportunity. The sun's getting more and more active, and will continue to do so over the next few years. So pretty cool there, and look out for some maybe a Northern Lights live event. I would be interested in that for sure. Okay. Well, with that said, I want to wish everyone a happy Winter Star Party. We're so happy you were able to join us virtually through our YouTube channel, and also this is still streaming out on Facebook Live as well. So we thank you for your support too, both just being here and talking with us and sharing in discussions about astronomy and the scientific fields in general. And we will look out for those future observing sessions. Live stream links will be posted, and we'll continue to interact with you on all our social media, Twitter, Facebook. All those links are in the video description if you'd like to follow us there. Thanks again to Drew Deskur, our director, for the amazing presentation about Kopernik and why we're celebrating Winter Star Party, and that this is actually Kopernik's birthday, which is really cool today, February 19th. And thank you to Robert Nyai as well for his amazing presentation, and also very entertaining and funny one on all those comics. So with that said, we'll use our slogan, look up and dream big always, and we will see you next time.